It's time for Chess Chest!
What?
No.
Chess Chest.
Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and welcome to the first episode in a new series I'm doing on my channel, all about the game of chess. I really love this game. Am I any good at it? But I'm fascinated by chess, and I've always loved it since I was a little kid, and I just thought there's enough stuff that I want to talk about with regards to the Game of Kings that I thought I'm going to do a new section. Besides, kind of been doing the same thing for a while on my channel, so I thought let's mix it up. Let's introduce a new section. So, myself and the game of chess. When I was a little kid, I played a whole bunch of games that we all played, Sorry, which is kind of the North American version of Parcheesi or Ludo in the UK, Monopoly, Mousetrap, all that kind of stuff. And I remember we had a chessboard in the house, and I remember asking my mom about it because it always struck me as a weird game. You move pieces around a board, but you don't roll any dice. You don't spin a spinner. There's no kind of random element that I was so used to with all the other board games in the house. And my mother's decided, okay, well, I'll teach you the rudimentary movements for chess, how you play it. And I was fascinated at a very early age, maybe certainly younger than 10 anyhow. And I just thought, this is a really cool game. It's gone on to spur many things. I mean, I've got, chess-related paperweights or bookends. I've got a really cool portable chess player by Garry Kasparov, and we'll be talking about him on this show. That's really cool. In fact, I think I had that before I had any other portable gaming devices like Game Boys or Nintendo DS or anything. It was a portable chessboard. So, yeah, I just wanted to maybe get into chess and describe all the different things about all the pieces, the board, a lot of the game's history, and also touch upon things that chess has done throughout, like appearances in movies and stuff like that. Now, I think the rook might have actually been what inspired my interest in chess from the very beginning, because I've mentioned a few times before, when I was quite young, we used to live in a coastal community here in British Columbia called Alert Bay. There's a t-shirt that I got the last time I was there, and in Alert Bay, when I visited, when I got this shirt, there was a building that I noticed that I had kind of forgotten about since I hadn't been there for decades. And it had a chess piece on the wall. It was some kind of an arcade. At least that's what the outside of the building was labeled many years later. But I think that chess piece, resonated with me for a long time, with that iconic board piece. And years later, when I saw the chessboard that my mom had when we moved away from Alert Bay, many years later, I remember seeing the rook among all the other pieces and thinking, that's that piece, isn't it? That's from that game, the one you don't roll any dice for. Huh. And then I learned the game of chess, and I played it a lot, and then it kind of faded away. Video games and other stuff took over. Having said that, I did get the Atari video chess cartridge, and I played the living heck out of that. And I've got an idea to use that in one of these episodes, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Oh, speaking of Atari, I also wanted to bring up that as a big fan of the game company, I mean, we got the shirts and the whole 9 yards, and the 2600, I remember hearing an interview with Ted Dabney, the guy who built Computer Space with Nolan Bushnell, and they both formed Atari. Ted Dabney said that in his early days of getting to know Nolan, they were both engineers for Ampex? Yes. They both had a fascination with chess. Now, they discovered the game of Go, which then kind of, it succeeded their interest in chess. They were originally big chess players but then they got into Go and they found it much more varied, and it's a really fascinating game. I've dabbled with Go. I really don't get it. I don't have an affinity for Go like I do for chess, but I just thought that was kind of cool that at one time anyway, both Ted Dabney and Nolan Bushnell were really, really into chess, as was I. So I'm just going to sort of touch on some of the things about chess. I'm going to go into the individual pieces. I'm going to talk about the history of the board itself, where the game came from, and my source for this is a really good book I got many years ago, The History of Chess, or A History of Chess by H.J.R. Murray. That is a huge book, but it has really, really excellent resource information in it. It talks about, it actually has excerpts in it from actual like medieval recordings of kings playing the game of chess in their castles and stuff, and it's weird to read it because it's unapologetically Old English, like with strangely worded lettering and things like that, and it's a fascinating book for me to read through. It's kind of my main resource, this and a couple of other books I'll be going into. But I pored all over that book and these others to find out all of these little guys. Where did they all come from? How did they all form? Was it true that at one time there was really only 4 pieces of chess? And that this guy is actually from China? And all these other things. This used to be the queen. This used to be a guy. There's a whole bunch of stuff we need to talk about with the game of chess. So that's going to be kind of my introduction to this new segment, Chess Chest. So I hope you'll come with me on a ride for this, because I really, really like this game, and I want to kind of share some of that enthusiasm with you guys, and hope maybe you might give chess another thought yourselves. Right, well, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.